Hello, my name is Isaac Pittman. I'd like to provide us with some key updates regarding our renovation project at the elementary school within our school district. One of the key issues that has been brought up to my attention is that we are having a lack of team communication occurring. I have submitted a schedule to your principal and your school secretary regarding what should be occurring within the project process, from certain classrooms being moved, renovation dates, and most importantly, when this should be completed. It has been brought to my attention that your principal and school secretary have not been sharing this information to you. Now, that could be because of a couple reasons. One could be they just, again, it's life gets busy. They might have forgotten to submit it because I sent it to them at the beginning of the year. But the second one, which I believe is more realistic, is your project manager has updated us and provided us information that things have been ever changing throughout this process. Setbacks have occurred, material might have not been delivered. And so, with these setbacks occurring, your principal's been aware of them, your school secretary's been aware of them, but they don't want to send out any documents because those documents that have been made have are no longer accurate. And so then they lead to be spreading false information, which is no good, which is just as bad as no information. But the teachers are frustrated because they feel like they have been left in the dark and do not know what's happening. And when you're in a school environment where the teachers and the students feel like they know the same amount of information, you could lead yourself to some really big problems within a school ecosystem because the lack of communication leads to assumptions. So that's one of the really big issues that's happening. The second issue that leads to big problems is the confliction of priorities. Our contractors have been signed by our district to complete this task by a certain deadline. And if they do not complete it by a certain task, they take a financial hit. Well, that means they're going to work as fast as possible, even though they might have setbacks and adjustments occurring to get this done before the deadline. What they're not aware of and not accounting for is due to the speed and inconsistency of the schedule set in place prior to the project being in the execution phase, is our classroom teachers and classrooms are being affected and violently adjusted due to it. This has led to teachers being pulled out of their classroom due to the renovations occurring, led to classroom routines changing, learning losses occurred, and teachers feel like learning and teaching is not the priority anymore, which makes it a very discouraging environment for our students, and more importantly, our teachers, which lead to nobody wanting to be on our campus. The third issue that I've noticed that is a big confliction of priority is, well, not a confliction of priority, I apologize. The third issue is underperforming team members. So, yes, they want to get this done by the certain contract deadline, but upon further inspection, there's been some really poor jobs done of our work, which leads to them having to go back and do it again, refix, redo the mistakes that have been occurring. Another issue that has occurred is the cleanup process, which leads to a safety hazard for our students. We have a lot of debris, heavy machinery, and all other types of dangers lurking around our elementary school campus due to these construction workers working through the project during school time and school hours. Well, there's been poor communication about what has needed to be cleaned up and what areas need to be cleaned up, which has led to debris and hazardous materials just left out because the poor communication could lead to safety hazards and our students and staff even being in dangerous situations due to it. These key issues are extremely important because if unaddressed, as I stated, they will lead to emotional problems through feeling unsupported, unheard, unwanted to be at the school, social problems due to your classroom environment changing, lack of communication, and social divides occurring between the admin, teachers, and everyone feeling like they're pinned against the project management team, and safety concerns. If we are not properly going through this project well throughout the communication phases, and we are leaving debris and other dangers out for our students and staff, it could lead to a hazardous work environment that could cause injuries and open up a whole other can of worms of problems. So we, as a school, need to make sure we are addressing these and communicating these properly. Now, as I've looked through my research in the book Project Management Leadership, the communication plan has actually been set up pretty well throughout this process. We are just missing the two of the key parts of the method of communication and the timing. How frequently are we communicating? Because those are the real big issues that I see are rooted in some of these problems. So, what are my solutions? What are my strategies to answer that first issue, the lack of team communication? Is I would like to get a team, a representative, a staff member, a teacher from each grade level within the elementary school to be represented on this project building team. Right now, I believe that our project building team has little to no representation from our staff members, and especially our teachers, who are the people that are affected the most throughout this process. And so, I would like to open the door to have each grade level from kindergarten to fifth grade have a teacher from each grade level represent the group so that they could be part of this communication process as we hear about the changes, hear about the process going on, and and what adjustments may occur. A part on my end that I would like to adjust, as I've noticed that the project manager makes a lot of changes, is I would like to take my document and make it a living document. And again, add these people within the leadership team, this new leadership team, project building team on it, so that they can consistently see updates made from the project manager communicating to me, communicating to the principal or the school secretary, and we could add those. And so your grade level representative can see that and vocalize that to the rest of the team. Also, through these grade level representatives, we distribute leadership and empowerment. Now, they have a representative. Each team member or each staff member or teacher within the school can go to at least one person that they know are connected to and feel trusted with, and voice their frustrations, concerns, or even compliments, so that we can relay those back to the project management team and do it in the most efficient and effective manner. The second solution I would like to address, or I'd like to propose, that I've learned about through my studies, when it comes to conflicting priorities, is we want to make sure that we are making our teachers feel heard. In some situations, we can't avoid moving a teacher. We just can't, especially as the deadline is set, delays happen, issues happen. We're gonna have to move teachers. That's part of this moving process. But what we could really do is sit down with some of these teachers and still allow them the voice of choice, meaning that, hey, I have to move you. We have to move you for the next couple months while your room gets renovated. Here are some of the options you can go to. What option would you like? And what can we get you to support you through it? I think those two things can really, really help smooth over those frustrated waters from our teacher standpoint and make sure that our learning loss isn't as mightily as it could be without it. But really, the key in that part too is making sure that our teachers know that we still are prioritizing and want to make sure learning is happening. And we care about the students and we care about the teachers doing their job. We're not just pushing you to the side because construction is more important than the education. We are a school after all, guys, and we want to make sure that our teachers know that we still prioritize them teaching and providing the support needed. This could, again, some problems are unavoidable. That's gonna be the life, especially when we're dealing with projects, when we have outside people implemented into our stakeholder group. We have to be able to be adaptable, as I learned through my article. The best thing is being adaptable, but also being communicative. Because when you're communicative, you really get to avoid a lot of the personal problems that could occur. Now, the last solution I would really like to bring is regarding our underperforming team members. We have people both from the project standpoint, from our site standpoint, in the cleaning up, maybe our janitorial crew, our maintenance crew, that are not doing the job to the level that we need them to be done. One thing I would like to implore is celebrating those who are doing it well. Because when people see celebration occurring for those that are doing it well, it creates an infectious domino effect that leads to others wanting to do their job at the highest level. As spoken about in the article I read this week, benefits of rewarding an employee have benefits of rewarding an employee. I apologize. It talks about how when you're recognized and you are acknowledged, it can increase their motivation to 80 over an 89% rate. It could, if you improve their participation and engagement, over 32%. When you get to engage stakeholders and celebrate them for their accomplishments and doing the job well, right, and doing it well, it really creates a domino effect, just as important as just as impactful as some of these negative and concerns could happen if we don't address them, is the positives could flip it in the other way and really make us a our environment better, make our stakeholders feel empowered, and make them seem seen, valued, and heard. And that's really important through the celebrations. And so those are really my three big strategies that I want to implore, empowering them through having representatives from each grade level. I want to address the conflicting priorities by just giving our teachers a voice and saying, hey, some things are unavoidable, but at least let's work through it together instead of saying, I'm going to just move you and kick you over there. And lastly, I want to celebrate those that are doing it right so that those that have done it wrong can see the benefits of it and try to mimic that that lifestyle and that behavior. Rewards could be varied too, from lunches to gift cards to, again, days off, whatever reward you at the school site can see can activate your staff a little bit better and activate your project manager, even communicating with the project manager. Hey, what do these guys like? What's a great reward that we can provide them to get them to do this job well? That's not just money. We can't just throw more money at them. And so communicating with the project manager can really help us find those celebratory rewards that help us out. Lastly, the last thing I want to bring up, I know this might be a little bit rambly, but I do want to implement some team building activities, and within my document that I'm going to submit out to you guys are some great team building activities. Walk in my shoes is a team building activity that's built around gaining the perspective, because it's so important that we gain the perspective of all of the people involved in this process. Gaining the perspective of the teachers. This could really help the communicative process, make them feel empowered, make their stories feel valued, and really get us to understand how we need to do the best that we can, because if we don't do our job and respect the time within our timely manner of communication, it affects others. The next team building activity is the solution circle. This is another activity that I really hope that you guys as a school site do, where you guys incorporate the project manager and project workers, construction workers within our team members. And you guys come together addressing some of the concerns you've seen and working together to find solutions. We don't just want problem finders at our school. We want problem solvers. And when we collaborate from a diverse range of people, they don't only share the leadership and share the load of stepping in and stepping up and solving these problems, but you start to gain empathy for each member within the process, from the builder, from the contractors to the teacher. Empathy can really be the cure for some hostile environments. And lastly, it's just an appreciation sometimes. So I want to, maybe you guys go out there and throw a little appreciation day. Go out there and say, hey, happy hour at the yard house after, or hey, we're gonna have a lunch on campus for people to come hang out. And just sometimes we're in a hard process, guys. This is hard. Moving is hard. Moving school renovation is hard. And so acknowledging that it's hard, but most importantly, acknowledging that you're not alone can really help soothe waters and calm tides, especially in the midst of some of the chaos that is uncontrollable. Because as I stated before, some problems we cannot avoid. The best thing we can do, though, is communicate and make sure that we are supporting in the best way possible to, again, bring us all together for our common goal, which is bettering our school site so that we can improve our education and support all stakeholders as they embark on their next adventure. If you guys have any questions regarding what I have just brought up, regarding the key issues, regarding my solutions, and even regarding my team building activities, please feel free to let me know. Thank you for your time, and I hope nothing but the best as we go through this project.